Hello and welcome everyone to this week's episode of Dragonfable. Now, last week we got stuck facing a dangerous foe that we could not damage quickly enough. This week we are going to try and get the Technomancer armor fully unlocked and dealt with. And to do that, we will go ahead and do a specific quest 15 times. Because that is the best way to get it unlocked. Now, let me look up exactly which class it is. It requires a charged cog. Yes. Yeah. Okay, back quests, pipe dreams. This is the quest that we have to do in order to fully unlock the Technomancer. And it will be annoying. Rather annoying indeed. Especially since I am not wearing the correct outfit. So, this one we will do now. And since I have already done this once, let's just go ahead. Oh, right, I forgot. Up, 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 up. Let's just quickly do this and lost. Okay. Right, we are going to go back to using a normal, better class instead of this meek warrior that can still defeat a giant moth that unravels reality with its screams. But that is just when Astro Codex is strategizing. Which, by the way, amazing video, also ridiculously strong. Which really shows how ridiculously strong it is. And it can be. And now then, forget this, leave the quest. And then in book 2, where we actually have some background music. See, the problem is that Pipe Dreams may be the best choice to do this, but that does not mean that Pipe Dreams is a good quest. And also, it doesn't have background music, which is annoying. But unfortunately, we must. Energy orb. Because we can't avoid doing this one. Yes. Now we are able to really do this. Um, and now, how do I speed this up again? Oh right, you can't, not yet. That was later. So let me just go ahead and play with this in order to create a closed circuit everywhere, because technically this is pressure, and this would not be good for pressure. And so we blast our way through this again, because unfortunately this quest isn't really that interesting. At least it doesn't have any background music, which I normally would just listen to during this. But listening to other music is not smart when I am recording this and going to upload it on YouTube. Especially not since I've already had one issue with. Whoops. And I am done. This is an easy one at least, so that was good. But yeah, there was, as you might have remembered actually, a different quest later that used the same mechanics but was actually kind of fun. That was during the Melrose saga, where they used this, and to be honest, I am quite sad that they haven't used such puzzles more, but at the same time, using it sparingly means that it doesn't get really boring. Damn it. That was annoying. Now that we have this, however, yeah, sometimes you just don't draw what you need. And sometimes you are just a little bit stupid. Yeah, so the later ones for this one don't start until you actually click. Which would be way better, to be honest. And it would avoid me failing, because I didn't click at all. Because I was trying to figure out where I needed to put that first piece. And now I have actually done it. Let's see. Not pop guns. This one is also good. Yeah, okay. After this I'm going to use a different quest. Because there are actually other options that don't also give alternative rewards. Which I thought there weren't actually, but I just checked. Yay. Oh, and we had one already apparently, because it just got automatically placed in the bank. Also, yes, snow. This is lovely. I love the snow version of Falcon Rage. Manage inventory. As you can see, this one, yeah, it goes a bit off the rails. And then back to here. And now, Pachelbel's cannon. And so, very, very rapidly, we get launched into this, into Fluffy. Or rather, we overshoot it. The second time we don't. And 2 fire damage it is. because this one is quite a bit different. I honestly did. Huh. I just checked, and yeah, I forgot to announce that I was going live on my own Discord. Not that there are any in there that don't have other avenues of seeing it, but it's just funny. Anyway, this will be a bit easier, I think, and should allow us to take on the Moss Dragon. Or rather, the Moss Dragon construct. Rather easily. And honestly, this is what I get for trying to deal with it the easy way, as I normally do in my quests. Because of that, I had no clue whatsoever how difficult this fight actually was, because I pushed it down in 3 turns. There is, after all, a reason why I use Chaos Weaver as my main on my other account, character. That was 1, and now we have 6 charged cogs left, which means that we only need 8 more to do those quests 8 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I just looked it up, but we don't yet have access to the skills that allow for nuking of enemies, so we will still have to make do with the cryptic for now. Unfortunately, they still haven't implemented a skip button in these quests. Probably because it's not that high a priority, to be honest. Most people just play it once and then go through it at most a few more times. That would be V. Yes. Now I'm playing it without my mouse for a bit. Not that it is much more difficult. we're halfway there. Let's take out this one first. This time. Let's take out the ads first. And with that, we have at least those easily defeated. That is one. Two. And three. Almost. Almost. This is honestly annoying, just clicking through it. And then we are done with the first half. So now let's go ahead. Damn it, wrong button. Now let's go ahead and deal with everyone else. And so these are getting dealt with one by one by one. I need to summon Fluffy. Elementalized, watch fire, confirm, summon dragon as a pet, and then one by one, taking them out. And that would be... Oh no, it deals 128 damage. We still have 10 times that much HP left over. Let's see, the other one is Richard's Gear, which is just a beat 'em up quest with a few enemies in it. Alright, these are weak to water. And there is a healing place in this quest, if I recall correctly. I really should invest in the stun for a bit on this character, but I have already spent trained a dragon fully. I'm not particularly looking forward to doing it again. And so we won. Like I said, there is another place where we can heal. Unfortunately, this is a slow healing pad. Oh no, whatever shall I do? Like I said, slow healing pad is unfortunate, but we can't do much about it. Luckily, we can do quite a bit about our enemies. And now we can, in fact, deal with our enemies like this. And elementalize towards water. I'm getting quite sick of the fire sound effect playing every time. The water sound effect is far less annoying to hear. And then with this last one, we can just go ahead and do this. And that is number 3. Let's do another Richard's Gear. We just need to do 5 more quests that reward a charged cog. And you can see that there is a skipped frame in the gears, which is actually pretty darkly hilarious. They were overtaken by a bunch of malfunctioning bots. And then we can just go ahead and do this. That was a good one. Then I just need to poison, and then with this final one we can just attack. Won't even need the won't even need to use the final. Oh, right. I forgot to actually release the pressure. So much easier when you don't have to do the minigame. And this is also so much easier when you just can press numbers instead of having to actually click them each and every time. Oh, that doesn't work. You have to use the numbers bar. I was trying to see if I could do it with my keypad, but unfortunately I can't. That's 4 if I recall correctly. Yeah, the other quest that can give them sitcom is rewards other things as well, which is not what we want. Sitcom was hilarious though because it featured the line, 1,000? Is that more than 3? And the reveal that Sneed, the king of all Sneevils, agreed to work for you for a grand total of 4 boxes, because he is the king, because he can count higher than all others. That is to 4. Well, his advisor can count to 10, which is seen as really impressive, but also pretentious. Let's see whether or not I even need to grab some healing from this place. I apparently really need to. No, I don't actually. No, don't forget to depressurize it. If only I actually had some level appropriate gear. But that will be for another time. And then with this, we are right where we wanted to be. Let's do a one more round of Patchbell's cannon. This entire thing was filled with those misunderstandings over tech that were quite annoying, really. Now looking back at it, being younger, it was quite hilarious, to be honest. But then again, most of the stories have matured quite a bit that I like now. Which is why, for example, even though it's one of the saddest moments, I really enjoyed the Potomac saga. And also the Calamity saga, even though I really hate the fact that they killed off Serenity like that. But whatever. And so, we managed to deal with this all. Elementalize towards fire. Nice that that one is dealt with. And with that, we have almost completely dealt with it. And now we have like, yes, the entire sitcom situation was hilarious, but at the same time it was also so much less hilarious looking back on it now that I have actually seen good story writing. It's still worth a laugh or two, but really not as much. That one does still make me chuckle though. After an unknown amount of time spent unconscious. Like, if the skip button worked, slash was here in the first place, this would not be anywhere near as tedious as it currently is. Because the intro cutscenes and this one wouldn't matter, and this one would by far be the best to farm, because this is an easy straight line victory. This game does still run. In fact, Blaze of Ice, this game has its own dedicated launcher now. And that one has allowed for some great advancements, such as the fact that mostly it works using these controls. Using just keyboard controls now. And yes, it's also still a pretty good game. And with that, we have won easily. This game also still gets updates, which I quite enjoy. And then for the last fight, let's just do Richard's Gear one more time. Let me update this first, and also don't forget this one. And now we can go ahead and go through all this. And since I have seen that you get a full heal at the start of the giant turbo fight, well, this just became a whole lot easier choice. And then with that done, and this as our very last fight, we can probably actually take on the moss construct, which to be honest, the only real threat we have seen so far in that particular saga. Because, unfortunately, the actual threats are far, far worse. And we have, in fact, gotten an update to it earlier this week. And that was this week's update. This week's update has quite an interesting implication, to be honest. And I'm not quite sure I like it. But then the last time we got an update to this story, we also saw that that was most likely what was happening. It's concerning. Okay. And then we have 1. Now then, we can wear the full Technomancer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wear the armor. And then load in our way under-leveled gear. And right. Let's then go to Swordhaven. Oh, and we must change this one. The Great One. Alright, so let's get started with this. Wow, this place looks ancient. And the Great One is waiting for us at the end. Nothing can stand in our way! Let's make sure to watch our step. Who knows what kinds of dangers await. This is a nice healing place. And so, the gauntlet begins in earnest. Where is the... There is the fire. Okay, so. Technomancer. Awesome class. Has interesting abilities. It also is based off how much mana you have spent / lost and loses mana over time. It is quite amazing at dealing with enemies. Now then, what was the correct rotation again? Yeah. Wind is there. Elementalize towards this. And then to be honest, I should rearrange my stats in order to make more sense for this, but let's see. Blast. Better watch your step. As you might have noticed, there is a heat drive and a bonus level that is showing up every time we see this. Limestone, spent fizzling. Okay, fire. It does. What it comes down to is that the more mana you spend, the higher your damage. At 50% mana spend, it is at a 100% extra bonus damage. At 0, at 100% mana spend, you get 200% bonus damage, and you have a free skill. You can also regenerate your mana based on exactly how much you have left. Okay. That one is good for that. Okay, this is actually pretty hilarious that I just can't. That I just can't click on the correct numbers during this. Okay. Accurate blast to all foes. Wind, heal. So, another reason why the why this is a really, really good class is because it is amazing in terms of sustain. It has a good heal and a good damage dealer in general. However, if I had to change one thing, I would change the fact that my dragon does not have the stun skill. If we fail in this turn around, I might just go ahead and change that. Because our enemy does not have any resistance to it. Luckily, you generally don't need it either. This one requires fire. And so fire it shall be. And this is a good mana waster. And yes, you want good mana wasters because, as I've said, this class thrives on sustained damage. This, however, is unfortunate. This blast has a hidden 100 bonus, which is really nice to get through shields. Unfortunately, he has put up his shield now instead of after. Let's put up our own shield. Then heal. Then put up our little bonus to hit. Because we have a tug drone to help us buff ourselves. This gives you 50 boost to 100 bonus, 50 crit. It's quite a hefty boost. Yeah, let's focus on this one first, because that one inflicts its shield on hit. And then static blast to all foes. Okay, we weren't affected by it, that's good. Unfortunately, the shield took our minus 50 to all. Now we were. That is bad. It is real bad, in fact. Yes. This. Is that a dragon? And it is not. Stone, nature, energy, water. Where is wind? There it is. Yes. Let's stock drone buff. And that deals a nice amount of damage. Are you using keyboard to move? How are you doing that? That is because the current, let's see, the current version allows for this to be used to move. It is, if you look within options, if you look within options, there is now the option to use this instead of anything else. And unfortunately, I don't think we can do that. Do you find this better? I find that it works differently mostly. I don't really think it's better, but it helps doing things that way. For example, during fights, repetitive fights, especially during wars, for example, I think it is way better. However, in a boss fight or something where I need 100% surety, I like doing this using I like doing it using the rather easier way of fighting, using the mouse. But especially for movement, I like using WASD. Let's see. Reset dragon skills. Yes. Train dragon. No, not assistance. It is mischief. Save skills. Thanks for clarifying. No problem, none at all. Okay, yeah, with the amount of trouble I've had with this, adventure mode is on. Enemy damage has been halved. Usually I don't like to use it, but given that my gear is vastly under level, and that I have already spent almost an hour trying to get some semblance of useful weaponry, I think that this might be a good choice. And here is one of the best stunts in the games, because it bypasses up to 200% immobility resist. It is also, however, one of the best attacks in the game to just deal with enemies in the end. It says so prominently, "You suck." At least to me, with its very prominent adventure mode symbol here, but mainly when you win a battle. And another mana waster. See? Adventure mode. Barrier. So the reason I am, by the way, clicking here is to change my element. And normally you would click on the orb that is around here to show it. However, with the way a Technomancer holds her weapon, you can't actually do that. That is not a useful way of dealing all the damage you need. Dark buff. It deals so little damage. Whoops, wrong one. Yeah, what some people do, for example, is use their minus all gear, except for the Uragiri, to heal, because minus all doesn't usually come with health resist added to it, or at least less than the minus all, and minus health gear is not numerous enough to really allow for using it like this. Right. Just like this. Also, there is a projectile traveling here. It's just hidden. But it means that it takes ridiculously long in the big fights for your projectile to arrive, which is really annoying. Oh right, it is a 1, because Z and X are for these two skills. And as a Technomancer, you want to keep it at around 75 to 50% used up. Damn it, wrong skill. But normally you want a wisdom-centric build so that you have more mana to waste, as it were. Wind. So much damage. And then a static blast to deal with it. You can probably imagine that this way easier mode is not as much and as often used. And I wouldn't really use it normally. That is fire. See, you can usually click here, but during battle you can't. Okay, not afflicted by stun. Go back to fire, static. Dark boost. Okay. Wind. Yeah. See here. A dragon construct. That is so easily beaten. I have one turn left on this, then Talk Drone, then the Sonic Boom Blaster, which is also a stun, then mana, then shield. Mana, next turn it has a it will do that. Yeah, shield, then overclock, then -50 to all again. And so, you can see we didn't even take damage yet, until now, which, yes, annoying, but also nowhere near as dangerous as it was before. And yeah, we deal a lot of damage. The amount of damage you deal with that attack, that I just used by the way, is based purely upon how much words, they fill me. It is based purely upon how much your event level is, and not based on as much on your boost level. I mean, it's still there, but that's not the main reason for it. The construct seems to no longer be a threat. And so we go here. Is this the end? Did we make it?
I hope so. I need a snack.
Or maybe it's another test. I can't see anything further out into the cave. It just keeps going. And it goes for quite a while.
What kind of test could this be? What if you just... Hey, great one! We're here. Where are you?
Maybe And this is what a truly ancient dragon looks like. Akroloth was giant. This is ancient. Well done. We are Kratos. We are Geno.
It's nice to meet you, I think. I'm Jaina and this is Fluffy.
You are smaller than expected.
I mean, I'm just a human. What were you expecting?
Not you. The Destroyer.
Smaller than expected? What's that supposed to mean?
We mean no offense by it. Your power is unmistakable. You truly are our old friends, reborn once more. How long has it been?
I don't think we've met before. What do you mean, reborn?
Do you trust this human you are bonded to? Do you trust them with your very being? Even if they didn't have that trinket of an amulet, would you stand by her side?
What kind of question is that? Of course I trust Jaina. Is she a dragon amulet or not? She's my human.
Very well then. We shall explain what you have forgotten. When this world was first formed, two dragons were created to be its guardians. One to create and bring order. One to destroy and refresh. And to watch over these dragons to ensure that they followed their function. Were further created elemental guardians. In this eternal flux, the dragons would balance the new world, creating and destroying in an endless cycle. And so the world existed until one day the destroyer and the creator vanished. The elemental guardians panicked. They were beings of order. They were meticulous. And yet somehow it seemed their soul charges had escaped their control. They blamed each other, fought, reconciled, fought again, and then they tried something new. If the original dragons were lost, then they would create new dragons to maintain the balance. And so they made a dragon each, the great dragons. Flawed and incomplete creations compared to the majesty of the original two. But they served their purpose faithfully. That is, up until the 8 Guardians discovered a pair of eggs. The Destroyer and the Savior reborn. And so the cycle continued. Born to do their duty and then to vanish to the passage of history. Lost to myth and legend. We knew a prior incarnation. We did not know what became of them. Your presence is comforting.
Wow. I knew there were prophecies about you, Fluffy, but to think you're that important to the world. But then, how old are you, Gramps?
We do not remember, little one. We sleep, we wake, and we sleep. Time continues its flow, and we continue to exist.
As enlightening as it has been to learn Fluffy's history, we did come here for a purpose.
You wish us to compel the Dragon Lords to action. You fear the fate of the frozen city.
Well, yes. Whatever destroyed Drakesford, it probably isn't going to stop there. Fluffy and I have dealt with a few of these rifts now, and if we can't do anything about it, it will continue to threaten our floor.
Exaggeration. Hyperbole. You do not know the fate of lore. If not you, then another will rise to the occasion. Such is the balance of lore. There will always be saviors to face its destroyers. If not now, then in another era, perhaps.
How can you be so dismissive? People's lives are at stake. You would let everything crumble around you just because you believe the world will balance itself?
Did you not listen to our tale earlier? You are insignificant. Humans were not a factor in the world's creation or purpose. We are, perhaps, overly affectionate toward your kind, but ultimately, your hopes and dreams are nothing, mean nothing. We will care for those we can, of course, but why struggle against inevitability? If not this disaster, then another will occur. Such is the balance of lore. There will always be destroyers to face its saviors.
What would you have us do? Give up? Fluffy and I are here knocking on your doorstep, saying that we are the saviors, and you would turn us away? You've gotten old and lazy, Gramps. We're going to save lore, with or without your help.
So speaks the destroyer, and their fat human. You challenge your destiny, little one.
Who cares? We have a chance to act. We have a chance to do something now. Why wait around for destiny?
Perhaps we have found too much comfort in repose. Your world's words always did ring true. What of you, human? You claim to be a savior.
You're kidding, right? Have you know, Fluffy and I have saved the world countless times. And what was the point of the gauntlet if not to test us? And besides, Fluffy trusts me and I trust Fluffy.
What would you do if we refuse to spur the Dragon Lords to action?
Then Fluffy and I and our allies would go on our own.
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown and beyond.
Such conviction.
Really? You've never met any other humans who were willing to give everything to save the world?
Certainly we have. You humans often have a tendency to overstate your dedication. But We have never met one so endorsed by the Destroyer. You shall have our blessing, human. The Dragon Lords will aid your cause. We will inform the Slayer.
That reminds me. Galanoth said that he had to be the speaker for you in correspondence with the Dragon Lords. He said that you could be hard to understand, and while I won't say that I completely understand your motivations, your words are clear.
Ah. Well. You have met the Dragon Lords. You know how it is. They and the dragons pulling their city found us sleeping. They landed on our back, woke us up, started asking for advice. It was terribly noisy. So, we spoke in riddles and obscurities, letting them interpret what they would, hoping they would take the hint. But that began to feel dishonest. So we reached out to the Slayer. We drew him to us. He has been a good pet, and the Dragon Lords have stopped pestering us.
Ah.
Yeah. Anyway. Excuse me while I struggle to keep from laughing out loud. Don't you have a crisis to save the world from?
Right. Thank you for agreeing to help, Trina. Kratos. See you around, Gramps.
Do visit us in another couple 100 years or so, small one. And if they're still dragging that human around, I suppose she is welcome too.
How generous. So you should be receiving instructions soon, Galanoth, or something. I'm not really sure how that telepathy thing works.
I understand. Thank you, Jane.
I knew Fluffy was special, but to think their origins and purpose are so important to lore. It seems the Great One described the creation of the Aftars and the Great Dragons as well. Perhaps it is a bit selfish of us humans to imagine that we now hold the fate of lore in our hands. The world was not made for us, we just made it ours. Perhaps not, but we don't really know what purpose lore was made for, do we? Such existential mysteries will only bring torment. We mustn't let them color our will. As long as the Manacor slumbers. Never you mind, Dragon. Time to pick up then. We've got Dragon Lords to rouse, a city to save, and a rift to close. Well, when I put it that way, it really does sound quite heroic.
And so, we are off to mobilize the Dragon Lords and begin the reclamation of Drakesford. We get a nature construct core now, by the way. Yeah, we have more than enough for these, so let's go. Reasons to fight. I think today we will get into the unknown. See, this one is suppressed in PvP in the arena, and this one just makes it unfair. So, reasons to fight. This is where we see the true hypocrisy of Captain Lestrade, I think. Or maybe it's the next. I don't know.
No! 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 Not again. Not again. These souls are so fragile. What is it?
Lady Jania, is there something amiss?
No. Just a rather strenuous spell. Enter, Acanthus. I could use your insight.
And how is your investigation into souls progressing?
Slowly. Barely. Not at all.
I see. You still refuse to attempt to summon a soul ally. The school in Adelia sees much success in their teachings, you know.
These soul allies, these elemental spirits, they have wills of their own, do they not? They can rebel or refuse to act in a critical moment. For this to work, I need obedience. I need a tool.
And you've been testing your theories on these souls.
When I try to draw power from them, I get flashes of memories, emotions. I'm sacrificing these people for the greater good. I can't let it be in vain. I can't.
If there were some way to use souls as you describe, I imagine that the Shapeless Empire would have already discovered and forbidden it.
They are not me. They are not. These soul allies, these elemental spirits, they are aligned to specific elements, are they not?
I believe so.
And they are, from what I have read, the souls of deceased weavers. And yet, these souls, as they are not aligned as such. Perhaps, instead of attempting to bind them whole, if I were to pull at a single aspect,
I would caution against straining yourself in such a way. Lady Jania, your barrier over Swordhaven took much out of you. Are you sure you're completely recovered?
I will be fine.
If your experiments are to continue, and your plan to come to fruition, these souls may not be the only sacrifices you end up making. Completely cutting off the mana core would be less likely of...
That is not an option. Such a scenarios would cause too much suffering across all of lore. Too much. No, I'm fully prepared to sacrifice all that is necessary to see the world at peace without first plunging it into chaos. Leave me. I must pursue this new avenue of research.
As you command, my lady.
The pain must end. I will protect Lord.
Oh, dear deluded Jania. You don't know how much you are being manipulated. How much you are wrong. One moment, says Lava. Should we not disclose what happened earlier?
I do not think it is relevant, Ostomy. What happened?
Says Lava.
Fine, that great one, that dragon, they spoke to us in our heads while you were traversing the gauntlet. But what did they say to you?
Jaina, you are aware that as Magisters of the Golden Hand, Zaslava and I were members of the Magisterium.
You've mentioned as much, yes?
The Great One knew things about us, about what we have done. And there's much the Magisterium has done to advance the Shapeless Empire. As Magisters of the Golden Hand, we were often on the forefront of such activities.
Ostromir,
Do you not remember the Great One's words? What if we perish in the struggle to come? No one would remember. Well, besides a gigantic dragon. No offense, Fluffy. As you may have surmised, Jonah, there is a reason why we have knowledge of the rifts and the wastes beyond. We have been there before. There have been quite a number of expeditions to the wastes in the history of the Magisterium.
expeditions?
Underneath the same Nibelheim's central tower, there are laboratories where Magisters are free to conduct research. It is there that the rift is maintained. Was maintained, actually. I am not sure of its place now that
The Magisterium conducted experiments in the wastes. Of these were many that those of mortals would not consider palatable.
when I close my eyes, the cries of the children, they still haunt me, even now.
We were all complicit. The
The Great One asked why we continued to assist the Alliance. There was more than enough reason, they said, for us to abandon our duty and return home. The Empire has likely fallen by now. Our people in disarray.
It can't have been an easy decision to remain here.
It was not.
It was not, but Ostromir regrets his past actions. He sees this saving lore business as a form of redemption.
Zaslava has tried to, how do you say it, block off that which she does not wish to remember. But she too is fully committed to this cause. I cannot help those I left behind, but I can still do some good. We have nothing else left for us, after all.
You didn't know that, Ostromir. I knew the Magisterium did questionable things. The harvest was a brutal reminder of that, but
Think what you will of us, Jenna. It does not change our course.
I hope that despite everything, well, your company has been welcome in these distant lands.
Perhaps You were right, Vseslava. Maybe I should not have said anything.
Come, the others of the Alliance must surely be wondering why we are late.
Am I the only one who wants to give Vseslava and Ostromir a hug right now? And so, the Great One has spoken to me. The Dragon Lords are to lend their aid in reclaiming Drakesford. Well, there you have it. I shall prepare the Dragonfall lights. By your leave, Captain.
Hold on. Speaker, you're a former companion of Jaina, are you not?
Lestrade, really?
Speaker is not infallible, as you may well remember from years prior.
Vilmer was cleared of...
Well, Speaker, do you have any proof that this is not a fabrication of convenience?
Lestrade, you promised to listen to the Speaker, and here he is. Or are you as dishonorable as you are cowardly?
I promised to listen to the words of the Great One, and I have yet to hear them.
It is my duty to reveal the words of the Great One. If you do not believe me, then perhaps your issue is with the Great One. You are welcome to face them, should you wish.
I do not!
The Speaker speaks with our authority. You will all obey.
And there you have it. Well, Captain Lestrade, is that enough for you?
If the Great One commands it be so, it shall be so.
About time.
We shall assist you, members of the Green Guard Alliance. Sir Baumbach, organize the flights.
It will be done.
The Dragon Lords, fly for Drakesford.
Pretentious ass.
Got you.
I don't have anything you want.
Oh, but you do. That airship is of gnomish make, and I heard a certain gnome snuck into the city around the time the airship arrived. And certain very important people have questions for certain gnomes such as yourself.
And if I persist?
I will not fall into the hands of the Rose.
And you fool! She's clearly not working for them! Your potato is correct. The Rose has control of the city. They would have sent more than just me. And they'd probably be uniformed.
You may do this for following my advice. I don't think she's the Rose type. And we are here to share the information to the right ears, aren't we?
If you say so, Hicks.
Fine, but I'm meshing you. If we end up in prison, or experimented upon, or...
Then we're all in agreement, then.
Sergei is amazing character. So much potential and still so great. And I really want to see more of Victoria uncovering the secrets of the Rose. what remains of Drakesford waits. And we go into the unknown. Next week, we set sail. See, we can work together. We are truly intending to sail to this other city.
Are you disappointed you did not get to fly on the back of another dragon, Ostromir?
What? No, absolutely not. I'm only commenting on the relative efficiency of an ancient sailing ship compared to the speed of...
Right.
No, truly, The reason we're sailing is because we don't have enough dragons for everyone, along with the refugees who want to go back and fight. That said, Tinder's depths are ever dangerous. Even more so since Drakesford was lost. And so, I would request that Jaina and Fluffy travel aboard the ship as well. If the worst were to occur, if the fungus were to attack the ship directly, I would prefer the hero and the dragon be present.
Understood, Garnath. It's so uplifting to see everyone working together, isn't it? Rose and Vind, Dragon Lords and refugees. To think something as simple as preparing a ship journey could bring such unity.
What are you getting at, Elf?
The more the falsehoods we hold as true are challenged, the harder we push back.
I apologize. Your assertions are correct.
Changing the world takes time, as does changing the way we think, the way we view each other.
So it does.
So, Artnia and I will fly ahead with the Dragon Lords. It's still a relatively long flight over open water, so we'll have the dragons resting and regaining strength on the ships and shifts. Have you heard any more word from the Dragon Lords about the situation in Drakesford, Galanath?
None, which greatly concerns me. We do not know what we're going to encounter, so it would be best to prepare for the worst eventualities.
And so we shall. Let's get the rest of this cargo loaded.
And so, we set sail to reclaim our home.
How are you doing, Garnath?
Well enough.
Stoic as ever, I see.
I've learned a lot, changed a lot. I'm only a dragon slayer. As ridiculous as it sounds. Will I have the strength to save my Drakesford? Will my weapons find purchase against the fungus that consumes the eyes?
None of us could do it alone. That's why we sought the aid of Dragon Lords. That's why we found you and the correct one. We're going to save Drakesford. All of us, together.
And so, in Tinder's depths, we set sail once more. On here, there are a couple of new bosses, similar to Ilmar, Maw of the Deep. And I didn't actually know that this was near Brawlmark. Here we can drop anchor. And face a Kilgwin. This Kilgwin is nowhere near as icy as he normally is. Normally this entire thing is covered in ice, but with the melting that has been going on, yeah, I'm not surprised that there has been trouble maintaining it. Now then, a Tusker, an Ice Dragon, and a Snowball. The only ones that really are still snowy, the horns of the Ice Dragon, and the danger from the Snowball, as little as it is. Now, 2 Ice Drakes. I love these gauntlets. I had not seen that model before, by the way, which is actually quite weird for me. Ooh. These are Yeti Master, the Ice Master Yetis. More feral cousins. They don't look near as cuddly as he does. Let's see what their resistances are. None at all. And we get a Defender's Medal. Here we can face the threat. We will. Let's see where was light. Here was light. This is the threat. These are the hollows. Mushroom imitations of life in all its various forms. Oh, right. Elementalized towards light. And now that we're past that, well. Wherever they came from, they must not be allowed to reach the mainland. And we can drop an anchor here. An Ursize Savage instead of the warriors we faced so long ago when we were in. Let's see, where is fire? When we were in search of the Ice Orb. An Arctic wolf, far more feral than the ones we saw before. The ones we saw before were just recolored wolves, as it were. Ah, the Dragon Riders report a cold storm ahead. Not a good sign, but extra rations are distributed to deal with the incoming cold. While taking a nap beneath the clouded, cold sky, you suddenly find yourself dropping, sinking below the warm waves, to the cold, dark depths below. As you struggle, panicking, a massive eye opens up in front of you. It blinks once, and you wake up shivering, soaking wet on the deck of the ship. That most definitely was Cthulhu, and that's not a good sign. Aw, he resisted it. That's annoying, actually. And since feral yetis don't have a weakness, we just have to beat them normally. Luckily, we went level up. I think somewhere here is where you can find the Tinder spawn. And up there is where you can fight one of the ancient dragons, or maybe up there. There are some really nice there are some really nice places you can see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there are the islands you can see. These ones are all the same Radiant quest, namely facing a boarding party. Then there are the various Ice Elf quests, I believe. No, those are infested. The Northland Shores quest. There's an Ice Elf hunting ground. There is a lost tomb you can go to. And then there is from the Lost Frost Cave and from the depths, which are bosses. You can't quit this quest. That would have been hilarious. Oh, right. Hello, Coisenix. Right, elementalized watch. Light. No. And then we are nowhere near ready to face these bosses, but I do want to see what they look like. This is an Elder Ice Dragon. And yeah, it can kill you very easily. Gladius, one of the bosses at the Edge of Time, is one of these. And yeah, affected by freeze, but not actually. The only stun that has a sliver of a chance to get through, because it applies a hidden -10 to stun, -100 to immobility. But yeah, this is the Elder Ice Dragon. That is not our previous port, but okay. Ah. Ooh, stash of potions. Oh! We get a pip invasion. Or rather, sea chicken invasion. Pips are cute though. So enormously cute. Sea chickens, less so. And an emperor, or well, a king, really, even less. And eventually they are just annoyances. But pips remain cute. See, this is a king of sea chickens. They still make that same annoying sound as the Emperor does. So we will sail towards the Drakesford shores, and then we will go ahead and end the episode there, because to be honest, it's gone a bit of time already, which I don't mind given that we have spent the last while trying to get enough time on stream, but not managing it. Now though, I can just do this. You're swabbing the deck when you notice a small group of somethings paddling alongside the ship. They're definitely not birds. They're definitely birds, but they're not ducks or swans or gulls. They're chickens. Unsure of the importance of sea chickens, the sailors throw some hardtack crumbs down for them. Better safe than sorry. And no, we are here at the Drakesford shore. And that's where we'll end for this week. See you next week.